Hello everyone, The Nerdy Steve here, and today we will be featuring Mardu Greasefang in Explorer Best of 1. I'm going to talk a little bit about the cards and the game plan, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. Has been a very popular deck for a bit, and it really functions with these two cards. So we have Greasefang Okiba Boss, which is at the beginning of combat, on your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, and then you return that card to your hand at the end of turn. And then you have Parhelion, which is a really big 5/5 flying first strike vigilance vehicle that when it attacks, you create two 4/4 attacking angels. And how this deck works, I featured many videos on these types of decks in the past, which you should totally watch, by the way. But how this deck works is it uses cards like the Blood from Voldaren Epicure, Bloodtithe Harvester, or the Self-Mill from Stitcher Supplier, or Undead Butler, to put Parhelion into your graveyard, and then reanimate it with Greasefang. And you can do this on the third turn, right? So you can Stitcher Supplier turn 1, mill Parhelion into your graveyard. Then on turn 3, you can Greasefang and reanimate Parhelion, crew it, and attack, and put your opponent on a very quick clock that's really hard to interact with if you're not prepared specifically for it. There's also Fable of the Mirror Breaker as another mill outlet. The stage 2 is really good, but also against maybe decks with a lot more interaction or graveyard removal. The stage 3 of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki works really well with Bloodtithe Harvester as another way to maybe kill your opponent if they're, stopping you from getting your combo together. So what we really want to do is get our combo off as quickly as we possibly can, and if our opponent is interacting with us and slowing us down a little bit, we want to be able to stop what they're doing, and Fatal Push, Lightning Axe, and Bloodtithe Harvester can do that against other creature strategies. Maybe Green-White Angels or Mono Green can create a really big board presence very quickly and might be able to overwhelm you. And having ways to interact with your opponent is really good to allow your combo to win in the way that it should, right? So with that, let's go play a couple of games and hope it works out. Okay, Neri. Now this isn't a particularly wonderful hand, but I think it is keepable. We now just need our Greasefang. And we have interaction with the Lightning Axe. So ideally what we can do eventually, right? I'm doing that so I can Lightning Axe something our opponent does. But what we can do now is potentially, because we have Can't Stay Away, we just need to be able to mill a Greasefang and we can get our party started, right? Bloodtithe Harvester can get rid of... Our opponent is a human deck, and there's a lot of things where they can spend their turn doing something, and then we get to kill it, potentially. So Thalia is actually fairly decent here, but what we can do now is we get it in food. Now we can kill a lot of really big things, but we get to kill Thalia here, and then we can Godless Shrine and say go. Adeline. Which we can kill Adeline if we really want to. And I think I kind of do. The longer the game goes, I think... The longer the game goes in this specific matchup, the easier it is for us to win, right? Because if we can just activate a Parhelion, we just win on the spot. So if we draw Greasefang, we can do that, right? So let's get rid of that and that. And now Alright, we have the Greasefang. What do we want to do here? And now we should be fine. We get to untap. If our opponent doesn't have removal, that would... If our opponent has removal, that would be less than ideal. Collected Company might be something our opponent can do. Alright. So the good thing here is if our opponent Collected Company is into a Brutal Cathar, it won't matter. Oh, but they get the general... Oh, is that both of our big vehicles? Oh no, everyone. That's so messed up. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to actually Bloodtithe Harvester. And now our opponent, what, can go for the Harvester here? Oh, that was so good. We needed them. Now that's going to get the can't stay away. Oh, we're in a very bad spot. I thought, like, there was no way we could lose this. Uh-oh. 3, no blocks. Parhelion. So, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So would have to sacrifice, what, these two? Okay, let's go to our attack phase. Now, and make our opponent kill the Okiba gang. Which we can then Deadly Dispute. Alright. So Parhelion's gonna be returned to our hand. What an interesting game. Luminarch Aspirant, of course. And Athalia's Lieutenant. So, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Let's see what our opponent does. So the good thing here, right, is we get to return, I think... Oh, wait, it doesn't die? Oh, no! Alright, everyone. Well, I messed that up. I thought it died. So we needed to actually sack that. Okay. We're learning together, everyone. to return, we needed to do that. Okay. Oh, can't stay away? On a Bloodtithe Harvester. That seems good. So now every turn our Bloodtithe Harvesters will kill something, which is much needed. GG. Oh my god. Woo! Okay. We have everything we want? We need a third land, but we can reanimate it very, very quickly. Well, now we also can't do it because we didn't have a target there for a turn 3. So, interesting. We don't know what our opponent's on. Alright. So, some type of blue-black control deck, maybe? I don't think it's rogues or mill. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm going to discard a Fable because I want to keep the Parhelion as a surprise, but there we go. So it doesn't matter. Nighthawk Scavenger. Also, no, we probably should have discarded Parhelion anyway, because if we didn't and there wasn't a target, we wouldn't be able to Greasefang. So that was probably wrong no matter what logic I was using. Okay. A Sultai deck. Migration Path. Alright, at least we get to do this. Do you know what? Yeah, and we're probably going to get punished a little bit if we can't. If we had another Parhelion, we could have Greasefanged again. So we could have 2 Parhelions in our graveyard. But I chose not to do that, to try and, like, be cute and hide the fact that I had Parhelion in my hand. And that's probably incorrect. It's something that I mess up a lot on, and it's a very, very quote-unquote common thing. But sometimes being too cute is bad. Like, trying to bluff when there's no need to bluff. Just don't bluff. Okay, thank you. We were rewarded for doing everything absolutely correctly. GG. Thank you. Okay, Neri. So we don't have white mana, which is, you know, a little problematic, but that's fine. We'll find. We have a couple turns. And we have a blood. I wonder... I don't remember if this is the same player from before. So now all we need is a Plains, and we can use Greasefang on the Parhelion. We can attack, actually. We're gonna block with the Stitcher Supplier, so it doesn't really matter. We can double block. Alright, we just need a untapped white source, everyone. Did not get that. We'll attack for 1. I'll Deadly Dispute away the Epicure. Alright. So, we only have 1 Parhelion. But what we can do... Alright, no, that's fine. So we get to Greasefang into Parhelion and basically win. Right? Beautiful. GG. Alright. Our opponent is Yorion. These fatal pushes might not be particularly great here, but good thing we can always loot them away. Keep... Oh, they're What are they? Luca Yorion or Agent of Treachery Yorion? Probably. No idea. I'd assume something like that. Fire Prophecy? Okay. Blue. Putting Yorion into hand already. Butler. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3. I have no idea. So I'm assuming they're on Agent of Treachery, right? Which I think we're kind of fine against. That's really good. Fires of Invention, Treachery. Okay. There is a Greasefang there. And we have a Parhelion, so we can Deadly Dispute the Undead Butler if we need to during our opponent's turn to get back the Greasefang and start Parhelion. Fable? Okay. Opponent right now doesn't have the 5th land for fires, but can use the Courier's Briefcase if they want to. So that's a Transmogrify. We will Fatal Push it. And our opponent has already cast 2 spells, so we don't have to worry about any responses or anything. Then we actually get to Deadly Dispute the Undead Butler. Bring back the Greasefang into our hand. And get an attack with it. Which is going to be a lot of damage here. I don't 5. That's almost lethal. It's not exactly lethal. But good enough for our opponent. 5-9. Yeah, GG. Thank you for watching me play some Greasefang. The deck is always really great and really fun. It's very, very good in that it really forces your opponent to have a very specific type of reactive gameplay. Otherwise, you can kind of do what you want. If your opponent doesn't have Graveyard Hate, and in Best of 1 not everyone does, you can kind of do what you want to do. If your opponent doesn't have instant speed removal for the Greasefang Okiba gang, your opponent can't really interact with you on a very, very effective or efficient way to stop your combo, and that's really, really great. We saw in one of the games how we didn't even need to really get our Parhelion going. Sometimes just the threat of it forces your opponent to have to make other choices. But, you know, Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Bloodtithe Harvester can sometimes just get the job done. And that's always a really good plan B to have. And that's what makes this deck good, is that the plan A of reanimating Parhelion is reliable and very, very deadly. But if that doesn't work out, or it can't work out because your opponent has specific pieces to stop you from going off, then you can always rely on just the power of Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Bloodtithe Harvester to kill your opponent. And, you know, if your opponent is at 0, it doesn't matter if they were attacked by a 1/1 vampire or a flying legendary. What the heck is even a Parhelion? A building? It doesn't matter, right? But yeah, with that being said, if you haven't already, you should totally like, comment, or subscribe, or watch me on Twitch. I stream live very often at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. And again, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. Bye.